We often face potent emotions like sadness, suffering, and stress in modern life. These emotions are natural responses to significant life events and factors that can shape and profoundly influence our journeys. However, is there a way to overcome these negative emotions while still maintaining inner peace? This is where the philosophy of Stoicism shines as a guiding light in the darkness, offering powerful principles to help us face and overcome challenges with resilience. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, left us a golden set of rules to live a meaningful life and build an unyielding spirit in the face of adversity. Let's explore these principles and ask ourselves, can you act as if nothing bothers you? Will you find the inner strength to turn pain into motivation and failure into stepping stones to success? This article will guide you through self-discovery and finding strength through Stoic philosophy, hoping you will find the golden keys to unlocking a peaceful and meaningful life. Principle 1. Your reaction determines your fate. In life, we cannot control everything that happens, but we can control how we react to those events. Stoicism asserts that our reactions determine the course of our lives, not the external events themselves. Imagine you are leading an important project, and after months of hard work, it suddenly fails due to factors beyond your control. Your initial reaction might be anger, disappointment, or even despair. However, in the spirit of Stoicism, this is the moment to pause and think about how to respond most wisely. You can let this failure define you, turning it into an insurmountable barrier. Or you can see it as an opportunity to learn, adjust, and become stronger. For example, when Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he co-founded, it could have been the end of his career. However, instead of letting this failure destroy him, Jobs chose to view it as a valuable lesson. He continued to innovate, founding other companies like Next and Pixar before returning to Apple and leading the company to unprecedented success. Jobs once said, "Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith." This demonstrates how a positive response to adversity can change the future. Your reaction affects your current mood and shapes how you move forward. When facing difficulties, instead of being swept away by negative emotions, respond calmly and clearly. This helps you maintain a steady mind and creates a strong foundation for personal growth and future success. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control everything that happens, we always have the power to control how we respond. And it is these responses that will shape our destiny. Remember, whenever you choose to react wisely and positively, you gradually build your desired life entire of meaning and success. Principle 2. Prepare for failure to move forward. In life, we are often haunted by the fear of failure. However, Stoicism teaches that failure is not the end, but the necessary stepping stone to success. When we learn to prepare for failure, we develop resilience and open up new opportunities for learning and growth. Imagine you are pursuing an important goal, such as starting a business. You invest all your time, effort, and finances into this project, but in the end, things don't go as planned. Instead of achieving resounding success, you face a heavy failure. This is when Stoicism encourages you to view this failure not as a terrible outcome, but as an opportunity to learn. This failure can teach you things that success might not, such as the importance of risk management, how to adjust your strategy, or even how to handle pressure. Preparing for failure doesn't mean actively seeking it out, but being ready to face it when it happens. Accepting that failure is a natural part of life helps us become more resilient, making it harder for us to be knocked down by difficulties. A classic example is the story of Thomas Edison, who failed thousands of times before inventing the electric light bulb. Each failure was not a defeat, but rather a step closer to success. He once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This vividly illustrates the resilience that Stoicism promotes. Accepting failure also helps us develop a positive and patient attitude towards life. When we understand that failure is inevitable and part of the journey, we can face it more calmly without letting it harm our self-esteem or spirit. Instead, each fall becomes an opportunity to rise stronger, wiser, and more determined. In Stoicism, preparing for failure is preparing for progress. When we embrace failure as a part of life, we become more resilient and develop a spirit of thinking and daring, unafraid to face challenges. This is crucial for moving forward, turning every obstacle into a launchpad for success. Principle 3. Seek simplicity in life. We are often caught up in the relentless race to achieve great things and luxurious conveniences in the modern world. However, the truth is a simple and frugal life truly brings us long-lasting peace and happiness. Stoicism encourages us to bet on simplicity, as simplicity not only frees the mind from unnecessary worries, but opens the door to true freedom. Imagine a simplified life where you only keep what is truly important. This doesn't mean giving up all material things or modern conveniences, but rather selecting and focusing on what provides long-term value. For example, instead of chasing the latest fashion trends, you can focus on building a wardrobe with sustainable items that suit your style and can be used for many years. Or, instead of spending time and money on lavish parties, you can find joy in meaningful conversations with close friends or simply enjoy a peaceful evening with a favorite book. Simplicity benefits the individual and creates an environment conducive to building and nurturing quality relationships. When unnecessary things no longer influence us, we can focus more on investing time and energy in meaningful relationships and activities that bring true joy. Think of a warm family meal where everyone shares joys, sorrows, and everyday stories without being distracted by phones or other technology. This is a simple yet priceless moment where true happiness is found. Finally, Stoicism emphasizes that simplicity is a wise choice. It is not deprivation, but rather a way to rediscover the value of the simple, small things that have immense power in shaping our lives and who we are. When we begin to eliminate the frivolous and focus on core values, we create a more fulfilling and meaningful life and achieve freedom and happiness that nothing else can replace. Principle 4. Overcoming hatred with forgiveness. Life is always entirely of opposites, some love and some hate. However, Stoicism encourages us not to repay hatred with hatred, but to choose the path of forgiveness and compassion. This helps protect our souls from unnecessary harm and creates conditions for us to develop a happier and more peaceful life. Imagine working in an office environment where a colleague frequently criticizes and expresses negative attitudes towards you. The natural reaction might be anger, rejection, or even hatred towards that person. But think for a moment. Does responding in such a way bring any benefit, or does it only increase tension and negativity? A prime example is the story of Nelson Mandela. After spending 27 years in prison, he did not choose the path of hatred when he was freed. Instead, Mandela chose forgiveness, forgiving those who imprisoned him and reconciling a nation divided by racial discrimination. He once said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." Mandela's forgiveness and compassion brought peace not only to himself, but also to an entire nation. When we choose not to hate those who hate us, we free ourselves from resentment. Instead of letting negative emotions dominate, we can focus on building a peaceful and joyous life. This doesn't mean accepting injustice or enduring abuse, but finding a different, more constructive approach that benefits us and the community long term. Overcoming hatred with forgiveness is an expression of inner strength and a way to protect our hearts from unnecessary wounds. By keeping our souls pure and untainted by negative emotions, we can move towards a more fulfilling life where happiness and peace are built from within, not dependent on how others treat us. Principle 5. Awareness of the transience of life. Death is inevitable in every human life, and Stoicism does not shy away from this truth. Instead of fearing it, This philosophy encourages us to accept death as a natural part of life, motivating us to live more meaningfully. Awareness of the transience of life helps us understand that nothing lasts forever, and what matters most is how we have lived, the memories we have created, and the connections we have made with those around us. Imagine you've spent many years building your dream home, a place filled with love, memories, and hard work. However, an unexpected natural disaster occurs one day, completely destroying your home. The pain is unavoidable, but after the initial shock, you realize that the actual value lies not in the ruined walls but in the memories and loving moments you created in that home. This event reminds you that instead of spending your entire life building external material things, we should focus on building meaningful relationships and memories. Another example is the loss of a loved one. This loss is often accompanied by deep pain, but it is also an opportunity to reflect on our lives. Instead of letting the fear of death paralyze us, we can let it encourage us to live each day with gratitude, love, and whole meaning. When we understand that life is temporary, we will appreciate the present moments more and avoid wasting time on meaningless things. As Stoicism reminds us, death is not an enemy to be fought, but a gentle reminder that we live on borrowed time. Each day is an opportunity to love, contribute, and create good things. When we accept the transience of life, we not only find peace within, but also live a more fulfilling life full of passion and purpose. Principle 6. Prepare for the worst. In life, facing difficult situations is inevitable. Instead of letting these challenges discourage us, Stoicism advises us to prepare for the worst. This is not a pessimistic attitude, but a wise strategy to build inner strength and achieve mental freedom. When we are prepared to face difficulties, we become more resilient and learn to appreciate the good moments in life. Imagine you are an athlete preparing for a significant competition. You train hard and anticipate all possible adverse situations, an unexpected injury, bad weather, or even failure in the competition. By mentally preparing for the unexpected, you won't be surprised or devastated when they occur. Instead, you can face them calmly and find a way to overcome them. This helps you maintain a steady spirit and increases your chances of success when difficult situations arise. Another example can be seen in everyday life, such as personal financial management. You might carefully plan your spending, save an emergency fund, and mentally prepare for the possibility of losing your job or encountering sudden financial problems. This way, when the worst happens, you won't panic, but will be able to handle the situation effectively. You protect yourself from economic crises and feel more confident in managing your life. Stoicism teaches us that expecting the worst is not about living in fear, but with confidence and calmness. When we accept that difficulties are a natural part of life, we are no longer trapped by anxiety about the future. Instead, we learn to live each day with gratitude and readiness. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow, and each time we overcome adversity, we move closer to a life of strength and freedom. Principle 7. Always fulfill your duties. Everyone has different responsibilities and obligations, depending on the roles they take on in their family, work, and society. Stoicism emphasizes that fulfilling one's duties is an obligation and a path to a meaningful and happy life. When we commit to our duties, we create value for ourselves and contribute to the community's development and progress. Imagine you are a doctor working in an emergency room, where every minute can determine a patient's survival. This job requires you always to be focused, determined, and dedicated, even when exhausted after many hours of continuous work. Despite the challenges, you must protect and save patients' lives. This is not only a professional responsibility, but also a profound moral obligation. Another example can be seen in the daily life role of a parent. Caring for, educating, and guiding children is a challenging task. It requires patience, love, and sacrifice. You are fulfilling your duty as a parent every time you help your child with their homework, encourage them to pursue their dreams, or simply listen when they need it. This allows your child grow and creates a strong bond that nurtures the development of your family and society. According to Stoicism, fulfilling one's duties is not just an action for personal benefit, but also a part of social responsibility. When we carry out our duties responsibly and with dedication, we create value for ourselves and help build a more just and sustainable society. This dedication brings us a sense of satisfaction and pride and affirms our place in a larger community. Fulfilling your duties, whether small or large, brings deep value. It helps us better understand our role in life and how we can contribute to making the world a better place. In every duty, whether caring for family, performing work, or contributing to the community, we can show our best qualities and build a life worth living. Principle 8. Extracting benefits from every situation. Not every experience is positive in life, but even the most painful situations contain valuable lessons. Stoicism teaches us that instead of wallowing in pain or a sense of betrayal, we should find ways to benefit from these situations to grow and become stronger. Imagine you have just experienced betrayal by a close friend you have trusted for many years. Initially, the feelings of disappointment and pain are unavoidable. However, if you embrace the Stoic spirit, you will realize that this experience, though painful, is also an opportunity for you to learn and grow. You may discover that you placed too much trust in a relationship without enough caution, or you may understand the value of self-reliance and self-trust. From there, you can draw lessons on how to build more sustainable and healthy relationships in the future. Another example is when you face failure at work. Instead of letting this failure discourage you and undermine your confidence, treat it as a lesson in perseverance and improvement. For example, when Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC, was rejected hundreds of times before his fried chicken recipe was accepted, he didn't give up. Instead, he learned from each failure, adjusted, and improved his recipe until he succeeded. Sanders' story is a testament to turning failure into motivation to achieve significant accomplishments. Extracting benefits from every situation doesn't mean ignoring pain or negative emotions, but instead learning to see every experience as an opportunity for growth. Stoicism encourages us to seek lessons in every challenge, not just to overcome them, but also to become stronger and wiser. Ultimately, these problematic experiences help us build a more prosperous and profound life, where every failure or hurt contributes to long-term growth and happiness. Principle 9. Do not place all your hopes on a single dream. We often tend to focus all our energy and expectations on a single goal or dream. However, Stoicism reminds us that having a diversity of hopes and goals brings balance and helps us avoid emotional shocks when things don't go as planned. Imagine you spend many years pursuing a dream job, investing time and effort, and sacrificing other things to achieve it. However, you were selected for the position in the final moments. Disappointment is inevitable, but if you have placed all your hopes on this job, the shock will be more tremendous, potentially leading to discouragement or a loss of direction. Conversely, suppose you maintain various goals in life, such as personal development, building strong relationships, or pursuing personal interests. In that case, you will more easily overcome this failure and find joy and meaning in other goals. Another example can be seen in financial investment. If you invest all your assets in a single venture, the risk of loss is high if the market turns unfavorable. However, if you diversify your investment portfolio, spreading your assets across different areas, you will minimize risk and have a more stable opportunity for growth. This principle also applies to life. Don't place all your hopes on a single path, but open your heart and mind to embrace multiple possibilities and opportunities. Stoicism teaches us that not placing all your hopes on a single goal doesn't mean lacking passion or ambition. Instead, It helps us maintain flexibility and readiness to adapt to unforeseen changes in life. By keeping an open mind and accepting whatever life brings, we avoid significant disappointments and create opportunities for comprehensive and sustainable growth. This allows us to live a rich and meaningful life where every step brings valuable experiences and new opportunities. Principle 10. Listen more, speak less. In today's world, filled with noise and overwhelming information, the ability to listen becomes a valuable but often overlooked skill. Stoicism emphasizes that listening more and speaking less helps us better understand others and leads to wisdom and self-improvement. Imagine you are attending a work meeting where everyone is passionately debating to express their opinions. In this context, you choose to listen instead of trying to dominate others with your words. You hear what they say and pay attention to the emotions and hidden meanings behind their words. This helps you gain a deeper understanding of the issue being discussed and how those around you are feeling and thinking. As a result, when you present your opinion, it is not only based on a more comprehensive understanding but also positively received because you have genuinely listened to and respected others' opinions. Another example can be found in personal relationships. In everyday life, we often speak more than listen, especially when we feel we are right or want to defend our views. However, listening to others helps us build more sustainable relationships and opens opportunities to learn from different experiences and perspectives. A friend shares a difficult situation, and instead of immediately giving advice, you choose to listen. This allows your friend to feel understood and empathized with and helps you better understand their emotions and thoughts, leading to valuable advice when needed. Stoicism encourages us to remember that listening is a communication act and an art of living. When we listen more, we learn to understand more deeply, leading to wiser decisions and more sincere relationships. Listening helps us connect with the world through words, understanding, and empathy. So, listen more and speak less to grow and live more meaningfully. Principle 11. Be aware of the risks of luck. In modern society, luck is often seen as a sweet reward that determines a person's success or failure. However, Stoicism warns us that reliance on luck is risky and can lead to insecurity and a loss of direction. True happiness does not lie in what luck brings, but in the calmness and steadfastness before all circumstances. Think of winning the lottery. Many people believe they will have a happy and fulfilled life if they are lucky enough to win. But in reality, many lottery winners fall into severe financial troubles or lose valuable relationships. This happens because they are not mentally prepared for sudden changes and cannot control luck's negative consequences. Instead of bringing happiness, luck can sometimes lead us down a path filled with difficulties and challenges. Another example is the career of professional athletes. Many athletes achieve great success thanks to luck, such as being discovered early or having the opportunity to join a strong team. However, truly successful and sustainable athletes rely on something other than luck, but on dedication, discipline, and the ability to overcome obstacles. They understand that luck is only temporary and sustainability can only be achieved through effort and perseverance. Stoicism emphasizes that we should not rely on luck, but focus on developing our inner selves and building a strong soul. When the fickle changes of fate do not sweep us away, we can maintain calmness and happiness, regardless of the external circumstances. True freedom comes from understanding that we can control our reactions, not from what luck brings. By living according to this principle, we can create a meaningful and fulfilling life where happiness is not tied to luck or external factors. Principle 12. Associate with successful people. The old saying goes, "The company knows you, you keep." Stoicism encourages us to seek valuable relationships by associating with successful people, those with positive thinking and always striving for growth. By being around such people, not only is our mind broadened, but we are also inspired and motivated to rise in life. Imagine you are a recent graduate with dreams and ambitions. You will find sympathy and support if you associate with peers who are also starting their careers and share similar aspirations. But you can work or socialize with those who have already succeeded. In that case, those who have overcome challenges and gained valuable experience will learn lessons that only reality can bring. These successful individuals help you broaden your vision and show you the shortest and most effective path to achieving your goals. Another example can be seen in sports. If you are a young athlete and have the opportunity to train with those who have achieved high accomplishments in your field, you will learn a lot from how they train, handle pressure, and maintain their fighting spirit. This interaction enhances your skills and inspires you to strive even harder. In this way, you absorb knowledge and are encouraged by determination and belief in your abilities. Associating with successful people is not just about enjoying their success, but also about learning and growing together. A sustainable relationship is one where both sides contribute and support each other, overcoming difficulties together and aiming for more significant goals. Stoicism emphasizes that to achieve lasting success, we need to seek like-minded companions who can ignite the spirit of growth and continuous self-improvement in us. In life, the support of successful people helps us overcome challenges and opens new doors, leading us to more significant opportunities and success. Principle 13. Guilt, the invisible burden. In life, guilt is one of the most uncomfortable negative emotions, paralyzing the mind and preventing us from moving forward. Stoicism teaches that guilt is not a natural state we must accept, but a burden we can and should release to achieve mental freedom. Imagine you've made a mistake at work, causing a crucial project to be delayed. Guilt immediately overwhelms your mind, keeping you up at night, constantly thinking about what you could have done differently. However, Stoicism advises that instead of letting guilt control you, you should face it directly. Acknowledge your mistake, learn from it, and then release the guilt to focus on fixing the consequences and avoiding similar mistakes in the future. This way, you reduce suffering and create conditions for personal growth. Another example is in personal relationships. You might feel guilty for not spending enough time with family or friends, leading to distance. This guilt can prevent you from mending the relationship because you feel undeserving. However, instead of being weighed down by this feeling, use it as motivation to change. Start by acknowledging your mistake, apologizing if needed, and committing to improving your presence in the lives of those you love. Thus, guilt no longer becomes a burden, but a driving force to rebuild and strengthen relationships. Stoicism emphasizes that guilt should not be a permanent part of our lives. It only makes sense if we use it to learn and improve ourselves. Once we recognize and learn from our mistakes, we need to release the guilt and move forward. This helps us live more lightly and opens the door for personal and spiritual growth. By freeing ourselves from guilt, we can focus on building a meaningful life full of mental freedom. Principle 14. Stop worrying about what is beyond your control. In life, we often get caught up in worries about things we cannot control, from unfavorable weather to the decisions of others. Stoicism advises that to achieve inner peace, we must learn to accept that things are beyond our reach and focus on what we can control, ourselves and our reactions to events. Imagine you are organizing an important outdoor event. You have prepared everything perfectly, from decorations to activity plans. However, the weather forecast shows a high chance of heavy rain just before the event. Instead of worrying and stressing about something you cannot change, Stoicism advises you to accept the situation and focus on contingency planning. Prepare tents, find an indoor alternative, or even mentally prepare to continue the event in the rain. This way, you not only reduce your anxiety, but are also ready to face whatever happens. Another example is in work. You may work hard and prepare thoroughly for a project, but the outcome depends on others' decisions, such as your boss or client. You will lose confidence and motivation if you constantly worry about their reactions. Instead, Focus on completing the task to the best of your ability and accept that the final result is not entirely within your control. This helps you work more effectively and keeps your spirit optimistic and calm. Stoicism reminds us that our energy and time should be devoted to things we can control. When we stop worrying about what is beyond our reach, we free ourselves from stress and anxiety, allowing ourselves to live a more meaningful life focused on what truly matters. This not only brings us inner peace, but also makes us stronger in facing unforeseen challenges in life. Principle 15. True wealth lies in a contented soul. In a world where people are often caught up in the race to own more, earn more, and achieve higher status, Stoicism reminds us that true wealth does not come from what we possess, but from a state of inner peace and contentment. This is the most precious asset that no life's upheavals can take away. Imagine you are a successful entrepreneur, having everything many people dream of: a beautiful house, a luxurious car, and a well-stocked bank account. But if inside, you constantly feel insecure, worried about losing these things, or never feeling satisfied, are you genuinely wealthy? If you do not feel content with what you already have, no amount of possessions can bring you true wealth. Another example is the lives of those who live simply, without many material possessions, but always feel happy and peaceful. They may find joy in simple things like a quiet morning, a warm meal with family, or a good book. Their soul is not distracted by endless desires. Instead, they focus on spiritual values, meaningful relationships, and personal growth. This is the manifestation of true wealth, wealth that cannot be measured by money or possessions. Stoicism teaches us that inner contentment is the foundation for a happy and meaningful life. When we stop chasing external things and start seeking peace within, we will realize that we have been wealthy all along. This does not mean we give up all ambition, but we learn to balance pursuing goals with maintaining satisfaction with what we already have. True wealth lies in the ability to recognize that you do not need more to feel enough, but just need to appreciate and be satisfied with what you have. It is wealth that cannot be lost, wealth that is not affected by external fluctuations, and wealth that genuinely brings you a fulfilled and peaceful life. Principle 16. Creating a meaningful life by applying Stoic principles. Stoicism is a system of thought and a practical guide for building a meaningful and fulfilling life. By applying these principles to daily life, we can overcome difficulties and challenges and find lasting peace and happiness. Imagine going through a difficult phase in life. Work is not going well, relationships are strained, and you feel lost. Instead of letting negative emotions control you, you can apply the principles of Stoicism. You begin by accepting that some things are beyond your control, and instead of worrying about them, you focus on what you can change. You listen more, reflect on the lessons from failures, and continuously seek simplicity and contentment in daily life. A practical example is facing a significant career failure. Instead of letting it defeat you, apply the principle of resilience. Clearly understand that failure is a natural part of life, an opportunity to learn and grow. You can look at examples of successful people who have overcome failure to rebuild, such as Steve Jobs, who was fired from Apple and later returned to make the company a global technology icon. Stoicism teaches us that every day brings a new opportunity to practice these principles, from maintaining calm in the storm of life to choosing not to hate those who treat us poorly and focusing on fulfilling our duties with the highest sense of responsibility. This helps you overcome current difficulties and builds a solid foundation for a more meaningful life. Ultimately, living according to Stoic principles not only brings inner peace, but also helps us create a fulfilling life where every action and decision brings value to ourselves and those around us. This is how Stoicism turns everyday life into a journey full of meaning and mental freedom. Principle 17. Applying Stoicism to live a meaningful life. Stoicism is a philosophy of thought and a powerful tool that helps us build a meaningful and peaceful life. By integrating Stoic principles into daily life, we can cope with challenges and find satisfaction and lasting happiness. Think of a situation where you must face a significant life event, such as losing a job or a relationship breakdown. According to Stoicism, instead of drowning in despair or blaming circumstances, you can view the situation with a more sober and positive perspective. By accepting that there are factors beyond your control, you focus on what you can do. Improve yourself, seek new opportunities, and learn from what has happened. This helps you recover faster and builds resilience and a positive attitude towards life. A prime example is the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before becoming one of the world's most famous authors, she endured a difficult period of unemployment, poverty, and a broken marriage. Instead of letting circumstances defeat her, Rowling applied a determined and optimistic spirit, focusing on writing and ultimately creating a work that brings joy and inspiration to millions worldwide. Stoicism also teaches us the importance of listening, understanding, and developing relationships based on respect and empathy. When you practice listening more and speaking less, you improve your communication skills and build more genuine and deep connections with those around you. Applying Stoicism in daily life can help you face difficulties and failures more calmly and confidently. You will learn to accept reality, focus on what can be changed, and find joy in simple things. This brings you inner peace and helps you build a fulfilled and meaningful life. Ultimately, living according to Stoic principles allows you to turn every experience, whether success or failure, into valuable lessons. You will not only grow but also inspire those around you, contributing to creating a meaningful life filled with mental freedom. Principle 18. The power of spiritual freedom in Stoicism. Stoicism is not just a way of living, but also the key to opening the door to spiritual freedom, a state everyone can achieve by mastering their emotions and reactions to life's events. By practicing Stoicism, we can overcome inner barriers and find peace even in the most challenging circumstances. Imagine facing an unexpected event, such as a financial crisis. Instead of letting anxiety and fear take over, Stoicism advises you to focus on what you can control, carefully planning your finances, seeking solutions, and keeping your mind calm. You maintain inner peace and effectively overcome challenges by mastering your emotions and concentrating on action. A striking example of spiritual freedom can be seen in the life of Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor. In his book Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl shares that even in the harshest conditions of a concentration camp, he found freedom by controlling his attitude and approach to life. He realized that while he could not control his surroundings, he could control his reaction. This is a vivid demonstration of Stoicism's core principle. True freedom comes from within, from the ability to choose how we react to what life brings. Applying Stoicism teaches you that all negative emotions, from fear and anxiety to hatred, can be controlled if you master your mind. External influences will no longer sway you, but you will live with calmness and inner freedom. This is the power that Stoicism brings, not from controlling the world around us, but from controlling ourselves. Practicing Stoicism becomes an opportunity to strengthen your spiritual freedom every day. You learn to face challenges calmly, view everything objectively, and find meaning in every moment of life. This helps you overcome difficulties in life and brings a life full of meaning and true freedom. Conclusion: Stoicism, with its powerful and practical principles, offers us a way of living through which we can achieve spiritual freedom, inner peace, and a life. From learning to accept what is beyond our control to focusing on our actions, from simplifying life to nurturing a contented soul, Stoicism provides us the tools to overcome challenges and live a fulfilled life. We have explored how Stoicism helps us face failure, master our emotions, and build sincere relationships. This philosophy encourages us to live in the present and reminds us that true wealth lies in the soul, not in external possessions. By listening more, speaking less, and not placing all our hopes on a single dream, we can create a life of meaning and balance. Now, take action. Start by applying one or two Stoic principles to your daily life. Try simplifying your schedule, listening to others sincerely, or focusing on what you can control in a difficult situation. Gradually, you will notice positive changes in how you approach life and perceive the world. Stoicism is not just a philosophy to ponder, but a lifestyle to practice. Let these principles guide your journey to a peaceful, accessible, and meaningful life. Every small step you take today will bring you closer to becoming the person you aspire to be, living a life unburdened by anxiety, hatred, or guilt, but filled with true freedom and happiness.